We weren't supposed to go off trail. But that's the part we were most excited about. We'd done all the regular hikes. Red Ridge, Pine Gulch, the Seven Lake Loop. But this time Mason had a friend who told him about a place that wasn't on the map. Old Ranger Trail, he said. Overgrown now. But leads to a hidden lake no one uses anymore. We liked the sound of that. We weren't looking for danger. Just quiet. Space. No crowds. No phones. Just us and the trees. There were 5 of us. Me. Mason. Luis. Ryan. And Tyler. Tyler was the youngest. Always the first to climb a boulder or dive into a lake. He carried too much gear and called it, just in case. We started the hike in late April. The spring thaw had passed. But the trails were still wet. Mud sticking to our boots. Pines dripping cold water through gaps in the canopy. The trail was real at first. Marked. Cut wide. Well worn. But around noon, we reached the turnoff. There was no sign. Just a break in the underbrush. The faint remains of what used to be a trail. A line of flat rocks. A single rusted nail in a dead tree. Mason said this was it. And Luis nodded like he already knew. Tyler hesitated. You sure this isn't private land? Mason just laughed. Nobody comes out here. That's the point. We hiked another 2 hours. The trees grew thicker. Light got thinner. The path narrowed until we were climbing more than walking. Mud giving way under our steps. Roots like snakes across the ground. When we found the lake, we forgot about everything else. Perfectly still. Gray-green water. Fog hanging just above the surface like it hadn't moved in days. No sound. No ripples. It looked untouched. Like a place pulled from before people. We set up camp near the edge. Pitched 2 tents. Built a fire pit. Ryan even hung his hammock between 2 trees with black bark and no leaves. Looks dead, Tyler said. It's fine, Ryan shrugged. That first night felt good. Tired legs. Hot food. Firelight flickering off our faces. Nobody checked their phones. There was no service anyway. The only weird thing was the smell. Luis noticed it first. Said it was like something sour in the air. But nobody else smelled it. Could be the lake, Mason offered. Could be you, Ryan added, and we laughed it off. Sometime after midnight, I woke up cold. The fire down to coals. The mist had crept in thick. Pressing low and wet against the tents. I thought I heard something moving in the trees. Not footsteps. More like dragging. But I didn't unzip the tent. I told myself it was an animal. Or wind. Or my head. I fell back asleep eventually. But I remember thinking one thing. Clearer than anything else. The trail wasn't on the map for a reason. The fire was almost out. I woke up freezing. Wet air pressing against the tent walls. At first I thought it was a dream. A sound. Like breathing. Deep and steady. Not mine. Then a growl. Short. Dry. Like something old had found its way back into the world. Someone screamed. Not loud. Not long. Just one sharp sound. Cut off too soon. I threw the zipper open and stumbled into the fog. The clearing was chaos. Ryan stood near the fire with a stick in both hands. Tyler was yelling into the dark. Luis was on the ground. Something was dragging him. Low to the ground. Fast but jerky. Whatever it was moved like it was broken. But still strong. I saw fur. Saw a flash of teeth. Heard a sound like wet leaves being crushed. The fire flared suddenly. Someone had thrown dry wood into it. In that moment of light, I saw the thing's eyes. Not yellow. Not red. Blue. Pale. Sick. Glowing from the inside out. Then it was gone. Not running. Not leaping. Just gone. Like it melted into the fog. We rushed to Luis. His leg was torn. Ripped open at the calf. Mason had the med kit. He wrapped it fast. Luis winced but didn't scream. His face was white. His breathing shallow. "What the hell was that?" he asked. Nobody answered. Ryan said it was a coyote. Just a big one. They're unpredictable. Tyler shook his head. Coyotes don't move like that. Mason didn't say anything. I wanted it to be a coyote. Something easy. Something natural. But those eyes. I couldn't forget those eyes. We stayed up till sunrise. Nobody slept. Nobody moved more than a few feet from the fire. Luis lay in his sleeping bag. His face damp. Shaking a little. But he was stable. For now. In the morning. He said it again. That was a coyote, right? And again. None of us answered. Because deep down, we already knew. That thing hadn't come to hunt. It had come to leave something behind. We didn't hike out that day. Luis couldn't walk. And no one wanted to say it. But we were lost. Not hopeless. But off track. The trail was gone. We checked every direction. Every bend in the trees looked the same. Tyler climbed a ridge to try and get a signal. He came back pale. Said he saw something watching him from below. Something tall. On all fours. But stretched wrong. We moved camp closer to the lake. Figured open ground was safer. Easier to see anything coming. Ryan joked about digging pit traps. Nobody laughed. That night we kept the fire big. Bigger than before. We stacked wood like a wall. Luis lay curled in his bag. His leg throbbed. He said it burned. Mason checked the wound. It didn't look infected. But the skin around it had gone tight and shiny. His temperature was rising. He needs a hospital, Tyler said. We need to move tomorrow. We all nodded. But we all knew. The thing wasn't done yet. The fog came in thicker than the first night. Low to the ground. Like it was creeping. Luis started shaking just after midnight. Sweating. Mumbling something under his breath. We tried to calm him. But his eyes kept flicking toward the trees. Don't let it touch me again, he whispered. Don't let it in. The moment it showed. None of us said a word. We didn't have to. We felt it. Just like before. The air went flat. The fire snapped low. And then. The eyes. Blue. Dead. Patient. But this time it didn't stay in the trees. It came into the light. Slow. Limping. Like it had been hurt. Maybe by us. Maybe not. Its fur was torn. Patchy. Matted with mud and something darker. Ryan grabbed the axe. The one we used for kindling. He didn't wait. He ran. The thing met him halfway. They collided hard. Went down in the dirt. Rolled near the fire. Screaming. Growling. Wood cracking. Bones maybe. Ryan came up bleeding. But the thing didn't rise again. It twitched, shuddered, then lay still. We stood around it. No one spoke. Its mouth hung open. Jagged teeth. Not like a wolf. Not like anything we'd seen. Its chest didn't rise. Its eyes. Still open. Still glowing. Even in death. Tyler said. "What the fuck is that thing?" Mason said. "Doesn't matter. It's dead." But I wasn't so sure. Not with Luis breathing like he was drowning. Not with that wound turning purple. Not with the way the firelight caught in those eyes. And didn't come back out. We didn't move the body. No one wanted to touch it. We left it where it fell. Half in the firelight. Half in the dark. Ryan wiped blood from his mouth. Said he was fine. But his hands shook. Tyler threw up. Then just sat there staring at the dirt. Mason tried to find a signal again. He was gone a long time. Came back empty. Said he walked in a straight line for 10 minutes. And came back to the same place. Luis didn't speak all morning. He sat up against a log. Wrapped in blankets. Eyes half shut. We gave him water. Tried to feed him. But he just chewed and spit. Chewed and spit. Until his lips cracked. His skin looked dry now. Tight over his bones. Like he was shrinking. His legs smelled bad. Not like rot. Worse. Like iron and bile. "You okay?" I asked. His eyes moved. But his face didn't. "Don't know," he whispered. "Don't feel like myself." Tyler said we needed to move. Find the trail. Drag Luis if we had to. Ryan said we'd waste him that way. That he couldn't survive it. Luis started laughing. Not loud. Not real. Like his mouth was laughing, but the rest of him didn't get the joke. "We're already dead out here," he said. "You just haven't felt it yet." That night we made a plan. Mason and Ryan would hike northeast at first light. Try to find a ranger or a ridge with a signal. Tyler and I would stay with Luis. Keep him warm. Watch the wound. Watch him. But sleep didn't come. Not really. I kept waking up. Branches snapping. Leaves shifting. Once I thought I saw Luis standing over Tyler. His face in shadow. His hands clenched. But when I blinked, he was gone. Morning came slow. Gray and wet. Mason and Ryan left without eating. They didn't look back. Tyler and I sat in silence. Watching Luis breathe. His breathing was wrong. Not fast. Not slow. Just steady. Too steady. Like he was copying it. Like he was practicing it. At noon, he started talking again. But not to us. His head tilted to the trees. His mouth moved. No sound at first. Then one word. Closer. Tyler asked what he meant. Luis turned to him. His eyes looked different. Brighter. Not healthy. Not human. "They're not gone," he said. It wasn't just one. It started with a sound. Not from Luis. From Tyler. He shouted my name. But not loud. Like he didn't want to wake something. I ran over. Tripped on a root. Saw them both in the mud. Luis was on top of him. Hands pinned at Tyler's shoulders. Mouth open. Teeth clenched tight. Tyler's sleeve was torn. Blood running down his arm. I grabbed Luis by the collar. Yanked hard. We both fell back. He didn't fight. Just laughed again. That same empty sound. He smelled like fear. He said. Then coughed. Spat something dark onto the grass. Tyler was shaking. Not from pain. From something else. He looked at me like he wanted to ask. If this was still the same person. If this was still Luis. But we both knew. It wasn't. We tied him. Used extra paracord. Strapped his hands. His feet. Looped it around a tree. He didn't struggle. Not at first. He watched us. Eyes glassy. Too wide. Mouth twitching like he was remembering how to smile. It's just the disease, Tyler whispered. People get like this from rabies, right? I nodded. But I didn't believe it. Not really. He didn't blink. 4 hours. Just sat there breathing. Staring at the lake. Muttering to himself. Sometimes it sounded like words. Other times like growling. Around sunset. His skin started to twitch. Muscles spasming under the surface. He jerked once. Twice. Then screamed. I've never heard a scream like that. Not pain. Not fear. Just raw sound. Like his throat was tearing itself open. We covered our ears. Tyler yelled at him to stop. And then he did. Just like that. He went still. All at once. Head tilted. Mouth parted. Drool bubbling between his teeth. He looked up at us. His voice soft. Almost normal. I think I need help. I almost believed him. Tyler stepped forward. Just a little. His foot touched the paracord. Luis's head snapped up. His teeth bared. He lunged. Ropes held. Barely. Tyler jumped back. Fell. Luis started laughing again. The same flat noise. Like something inside him found it funny. We didn't sleep. We just sat with our backs to the fire. Watching the rope. Watching him. Listening to the trees. I don't know what scared me more. What was out there? Or what was still sitting in front of me? Wearing Luis's face. The rope didn't break. Not all at once. It frayed. Like it had been worn from the inside. Picked at. Chewed. We didn't notice until it was too late. We were boiling water. Just a few feet from the tree. Still close. But not close enough. Tyler turned first. Stiff. Slow. Where is he? I looked up. The rope was hanging loose. Coiled on the ground. Like something had slithered free of it. We dropped everything. Ran through the trees. Calling his name. Shouting. Listening. But it was silent. Dead quiet. Not even wind. Then we heard it. Not footsteps. Breathing. Heavy. Wet. Coming from behind a fallen log. Tyler raised the hatchet. His hands shaking too much to grip it tight. I pulled him back. Motioned him to wait. Luis stood up slow. His clothes torn. Chest rising and falling like he'd run for miles. Eyes locked on nothing. Then. He looked at me. And I swear for a second. He was still in there. I didn't mean to. He said. I don't want to hurt you. Then his eyes twitched. Like a flicker behind a screen. And he moved again. I dropped him with the stick. Hit him across the shoulder. Hard. He fell. Twitched once. Then stopped moving. We dragged him back. Tied him again. Tighter. Every knot doubled. I checked his pulse. Still beating. But weak. Irregular. We didn't talk. Not for hours. Just sat. Waiting. I thought about Ryan. And Mason. How long they'd been gone. Whether they'd made it. Or if something else was in the woods. Something we hadn't seen. At sunset. Luis opened his eyes. He didn't say anything. Just stared at me. No hate. No pain. Just hunger. He started chewing his lips. Until they bled. Tyler whispered. He's not gonna make it. I didn't answer. After dark. We heard footsteps again. But not Luis. Lighter. Fast. From deeper in the trees. Then. A voice. Hello? I stood. Tyler grabbed my arm. The voice came again. Closer this time. Is someone there? Then 2 flashlights. Cutting through the mist. Catching on bark. On faces. Rangers. One of them radioed for help. The other pointed at Luis. He took one look. Then swore under his breath. How long has he been like this? Tyler said. 2 days. The ranger nodded. If it's rabies, he's lucky to be alive. They landed just after midnight. The noise shook the trees. Blue mist across the fire. Lit up the clearing like a stage. Luis didn't move. He just lay there. Wrapped in blankets. Eyes half-lidded. Muttering things none of us understood. The medic didn't ask questions. He injected something. Checked vitals. Looked at his pupils. Then gave us gloves and masks. You did the right thing tying him down. We didn't say much. Just nodded. We watched them lift him into the helicopter. Strapped down. Tubes in his arm. Straps across his chest. Tyler turned away. Said nothing. I kept watching. Luis didn't struggle. Didn't speak. But as they slid the doors shut, he turned his head. And looked straight at me. Just for a second. His eyes clear. His lips moved. Don't follow me. Then the rotors drowned everything. And he was gone. A ranger stayed with us until morning. Gave us water. Radioed ahead. Mason and Ryan had made it to a station 3 miles east. They were fine. Shaken. But safe. When we reunited. Nobody hugged. We just sat. Like survivors of something unnamed. We rode out in a pickup. Down a dirt road we'd never seen. A road we must have passed a dozen times. But never noticed. The ranger told us the animal we described didn't match anything local. No known rabies cases either. But they'd look into it. I knew they wouldn't. We gave our statements. Signed forms. Sat under buzzing lights. They offered food. None of us ate. Luis was flown to a special clinic. They said he was stable. Unconscious. But alive. If they got to him in time. He might pull through. Might. Tyler called once. 2 weeks later. Said the doctors confirmed rabies. Late stage. Almost terminal. They started treatment anyway. I asked if he remembered what Luis said. In the moment. Before the helicopter. Tyler paused. No. He said. He didn't say anything. I hung up. Sat in my apartment. Lights off. Window open. The city felt too quiet. Like something was waiting just outside it. Something with blue eyes. And a broken mouth. They discharged him 3 weeks later. We weren't allowed to visit. Not during treatment. Not after. But they said the virus was gone. Neutralized. Contained. They used words like miraculous and rare case. But not once did they say cured. He didn't come home right away. His family took him upstate. Some private place near the water. Quiet. Isolated. I texted him. Called twice. No answer. Then one day, I got an email. No subject. No greeting. Just a photo. Luis sitting by a lake. Hood up. Hands in his lap. His face was blurry. Not from the camera. But like the light didn't want to hold it. Beneath the photo, one line. Do you remember the fire? I didn't respond. Months passed. We all drifted. Ryan moved out of state. Mason started working nights. Tyler quit hiking completely. I still walk sometimes. But never alone. And never off trail. Every now and then. I think I see him. Luis. Across the street. In a crowd. In the reflection of a train window. Always looking. But never looking back. I tell myself it's not him. That it's just memory. A face I've over-remembered. But then I blink. And he's still there. The last time was outside my building. Late. Raining. A figure under a streetlight. Still. Hood up. Same tilt of the head. I watched from the window. It didn't move. I turned away for a second. Just one. When I looked back, the light was empty. Last week I found something in my mailbox. No name. No note. Just a scrap of rope. Frayed at the end. Stained dark. I didn't open the door for hours after that. They say rabies dies after a certain point. That it can't survive in the body more than a few days without the brain. But they don't know everything. They don't know what lives in the woods. What's buried under frost and bark. What still breathes long after it dies. Luis is alive. I believe that. But I don't think it ever really left him. And I don't think it ever will. END